in the past few days, there's been a lot of rumor articles going around through Yahoo and all the different tech sites about how Apple has decided to cancel the iPhone 7 Pro. Now, these titles have all been very misleading to pretty much talk down on Apple, but when you actually look at the articles, Apple's not canceling the iPhone 7. They're just going to be canceling the iPhone 7 Pro, which is their flagship high-end design that came with the dual camera lens and a bunch of other things. But folks, Apple is not canceling the iPhone 7 line, so please do not let these articles trick you. So from what the articles have been all saying and suggesting, it seems that Apple has decided to back away from doing a 3-line phone and going back to what they did before with a 2 design. Because every year beforehand, they've released one new model essentially per year, and then the last few years they decided to go ahead and make variations of the same model. So if you guys remember the iPhone 5, then there was the iPhone 5C, and then with the 6 there was the 6S the year afterwards, and then during that same year there was the 6 Plus and then the 6S Plus the following year. And they're trying to keep it streamlined. And the one thing you gotta give Apple credit for is that they keep it simple. They pretty much say you need to have this one smartphone, this one computer, and you essentially have the entire Apple lineup, everything you need to do to pretty much use Apple products. I don't argue against that, because when I really look at people who use Mac products and Apple products, it is simple and clean. It is just 1 or 2 devices and they're pretty much content. And that really translates into their sales number, because if you do a quick poll and look around online, Apple roughly only controls roughly around 20% of the smartphone market, but they own that 20%. Because while the other 80 or 70+% is owned by Android, that's divided between a good handful of companies out there. So it's not just Samsung. There's companies like Motorola, Huawei, the OnePlus company, LG, and a bunch of other people in that market segment trying to fight for as many shares as possible. But when you actually break it down in terms of profit, Apple makes a lot more. Now, I didn't really read into the reasons why they make more profits, but it's out there. Their articles are out there, but nonetheless, they own a decent chunk of the market and capital. But what a lot of these articles, including myself, have brought up, and I brought it up in the past, is that what good is all that capital if they're not going to use it? And what I mean by using it is not just doing minuscule updates and upgrades to your phones year over year. When is Apple, and I've been asking and wanting this from Apple for the last few years actually, is when is Apple going to be an innovative company again? Now, before you Apple fans, and if you're watching this video, thank you for watching, and please try to just hear me out I'm playing devil's advocate. And you need to hear what my definition of innovative is, and this is what a lot of other people believe as well too. What I mean by being innovative is actually developing and releasing new technologies. If you're going to repurpose and repackage existing technologies that have existed or other companies have made, and you're just going ahead and you're fusing them together, you're being innovative in a different way, but that's not creating new technologies. You're just repurposing something that's already existed. The biggest example I have of this is last year, they released the new the MacBook. I believe it was last year or the year before. And they were retailing it for over $1,500 for a computer that couldn't do more than a laptop that you can get for $400. Yes, it was thinner, it used new technologies to make it thinner and everything, but it wasn't more practical. It didn't offer you more other than being light. And the thing is, you could get other slim laptop notebooks for half the price that offered you a lot more. And the most insulting thing for me was, all right, you're paying $1,500 for a laptop, and you're gonna put a 480p camera in there. Your iPhones have a better front-facing camera than the camera that you put into your laptop. And that just astonishes me. And I have this argument with a lot of people who are big Apple fans and who refuse to go to another company. And I have this all the time. Like when I got my first smartwatch, I got the first Gear when it was announced back in 2012, and this is now 4 years ago, which is crazy. But when I got the Pebble, which came out even before the Samsung Gear, and I got the Gear, and I kept getting the coinciding devices to test out, including the original Gear Fit, and even the Gear S, every time I showed my Apple friends and my coworkers, they all said the same thing. When is Apple going to release their version? When is Apple going to release their version? In my mind, why weren't they the first person to release it. Or if they saw that Pebble was making a proprietary watch for their phone, why didn't they jump on it and just make their own device? Why didn't they work with Pebble to make it interface a lot better, to make it like how the current Apple Watch is now? Because sadly, when the Apple Watch was released, all those people that I spoke with, all my friends and coworkers, all the Apple fans, quickly forgot about how all the other companies released smartwatches way before Apple did, and they were quickly to jump the gun and say, oh my God, Apple's the most innovative company in the world, they invented the smartwatch. And this is why I can't have serious conversations about tech with most of the Apple community. It's not all, because I know a lot of people recognize what Apple has been doing, and if anything, they just like the Apple ecosystem and they stay in it, and I won't argue with you against that. The Apple ecosystem with iTunes and everything is definitely a very good all-in-one package, and it's a very good interface for a lot of people out there, and I won't argue against it. But when you tell me that they are offering the best bang for your buck, they are offering the most latest technologies, they are giving you the best tech for what you're purchasing, I cannot believe you when they do stuff like that, you know, like what they did with the smartwatches. Their first version of the Apple Watch was very sad in comparison to what Samsung has done, as well as the other company. Battery life was poor. The interface was kind of iffy for me. It didn't have a lot of the functionalities that the other watches offered right off the bat. So you had all this time to refine the technologies that have already happened. Because my biggest argument, another argument on top of that is, a lot of people telling me, well, they wait. And this, some of the articles actually said this. Apple likes to wait, and this might be Tim Cook's strategy, for other companies to spend all the R&D, spend all the money, and take the risk on these new tech ideas before they release their own. Okay, that is actually not a bad idea. Like, you know, I won't argue against Tim Cook, because why take the risk yourself when another company is willing to do it, see if it works out, see if the market's ready for it, and then take what they've done and make it better. That is fine with me. But when you take another company's idea and tech and you don't make it better, you're just making a cheap copy, and then you're selling it for double or triple the price that your competitor is doing. And in my mind, that's ripping your customers off. Now, I can sit here and go on and on about my gripes with the company, but I'm very worried because I don't want Apple to keep continuing to make these decisions. And unfortunately, ever since Steve Jobs passed away, I felt like the company has lost a lot of its image. Because I owned iPhones up through the 4S. You know, I was really adamant about the company when they first came out. I was in college, and during the first their Apple conference, when they showed off the first iPhone, I was on board because I was all about the tech. You know, growing up, I tinkered with even my dad's VCR and computer. I took things apart, put them back together. I always envisioned and dreamt about the future. And I was on board with Apple 100%. But as the years went on and I saw these other companies really pushing the envelope, even Google coming out with their Google Glass and the Google Cardboard, Oculus Rift, the VR, the smartwatches, other companies pushing the screen technology, bendable screens, rollable screens, modular TVs, and etc., electric cars, like everything has been rolling out, but a lot of this stuff, like I'm gonna say this, none of this stuff has come from Apple. They've been coming from other startups and other companies, or other companies adopting these startup companies to make these technologies. And I've been very disappointed. I've been waiting for the day for Apple to just really take the reins and take over, or take virtual reality, take the electric car, take whatever is existing and make it significantly better. I mean, that'll be the minimal thing. I mean, I would look at that as, all right, at least you did something better. But up to this point, they haven't really done anything to really stick out in my mind. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels this way. I know there's a lot of people who hate Apple, but I'm gonna say it again. I always say this in a lot of my videos when I talk about Apple. I don't hate them. I have just been very disappointed in the company. I've just been very disappointed in their design, their beauty of the technology, them pushing the envelope, the design language, the tech, like nothing new is coming out of the company anymore, and it's not exciting. It's not exciting to me. It's more exciting to me when all of a sudden a startup company in China makes a phone that's twice as powerful than the Samsung Note 7 right off the bat. It's a simpler interface. There's less junk because My one thing against Samsung, they put all this proprietary software in there that, let's be frank, useless in there. And there are these bare bone companies that are starting up and people are starting to recognize them. So the thing is, guys, Apple's not going anywhere. They have a crap ton of cash reserves. They're still selling millions of phones every year, quarter after quarter, month after month. They are a giant global brand, and they're at the point now where they could just sit comfortable. For how long, I don't know, but I feel like they've become complacent. They feel they're essentially making the profit. They're not taking risks anymore because they don't feel like they need to. They have a loyal customer base that isn't really demanding much from them. They just want the newest and the next best thing, and whatever Apple presents to them, they've come to believe to be the newest best thing. And that's unfortunate because the company should be driven still, and I feel like they've lost their drive. And I sincerely hope that within this year or next year or sometime soon that someone really lights a fire under Apple to really start pushing the envelope once again and be the innovative technology that they once were 6 years ago. Well guys, thank you for watching that video. If you actually watched the entire thing, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you guys watching my videos. And if you liked what you heard, go ahead and please down below leave a thumbs up to let me know that you liked this video. And if you'd like to hear my opinion on other topics, other articles that you may have found, other devices that you're thinking of, I'll be more than happy to take a look at them and maybe even possibly do a video. I'm gonna be cranking these out a little bit more frequently soon. So go ahead and leave a comment down below or email me at the email address in the information section down below. And on top of that, if you haven't already done so, please do hit that subscribe button for more videos in the future. And if I do hit 20,000 subscribers, hopefully by the time this video reaches that, if we get to 20,000 subscribers, I'm gonna be doing a big giveaway for my subscriber base. So please go ahead and support. But until then, please check out the last video over here. Design and tech, but it definitely comes with a lot of good enhancements and improvements over the previous generation. Now, if you were like me, you were disappointed last year when Samsung revealed the Note 5 with no edge-to-edge screen because a few months earlier they released the S6 Edge Plus, and with this year they also released the S7 Edge. Now this phone is essentially all the good things about the Note series and the S7 Edge combined into one phone with some extras on top. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know in my older videos of the smartwatches as well as the other smartphones,